Okay, is this math?
Yes.
Okay. All right, then go ahead and start.
Okay. Good morning, class.
Good morning.
So today the goal will be to accurately read and write the time to the nearest 1 minute increment using analog and digital clocks 14 out of 16 times. So you all have sticky notes on your desk. Everybody grab a few. We're going to be doing an activity called Jot Thoughts today. And the goal is going to be you have 1 minute and you're going to try to put one thought down on each sticky note. You're going to try to get as many thoughts as you can in that 1 minute on the question I asked of you. So we're looking at these clocks here. And write down what you think, whenever you see these clocks, are there any similarities, are there any differences? What comes to mind when you're looking at these clocks? Do you know how to read the time yet? Do you have just anything that comes to mind? Go ahead. Okay, so now that y'all have had a few minutes, y'all can go ahead and talk with your groups and maybe figure out some things that all of y'all have either written down or any similarities, any differences. Just talk as a group. Okay. Would anybody like to share what their table said?
I said one looks more complicated than the other one.
Yes, exactly. Anybody else?
One has pens.
Yes. Anything else?
How would they both tell time?
That is a similarity. Yes. Good job. All right. So we know that one gives you the time already. That's the digital clock, and like just easy tells it to you. The other one you got to work a little bit harder. You got to read both the hands, even though that one only has one. Okay. So that's the analog clock. Is going to be the one on the left. Okay, so can anybody name what kind of clock that is?
Digital?
Yes, exactly. Does anybody know what that kind of clock is? Good job. All right, and so we all know that there's an hour hand and that there's a minute hand. And the hour hand is going to be the smaller one, and whenever you're reading it, it's either going to be directly on the number that tells the time, or it's going to be to the right of it, and you'll just look to the left of where that hand is to tell what the hour is. And then the minute hand will be directly on what minute it is. And it's going to be the longer hand. So now when we're looking at this clock, there's a colon in the middle, and that's what the two dots are, and that's what I'm going to refer to it as we're going over the time. So on the left side, what does that tell you? The hours. Exactly. And on the right side, what does that tell you?
The minutes.
Exactly. Okay, so whenever we write down the time for everybody, how would we tell them that it's in the morning, it's between midnight and noon? How would they know? What do we write after the time to let them know that?
AM.
Exactly. And what would we write if it's after noon but it's before midnight?
PM.
Exactly. So now we'll work together and we'll figure out what time it is. Let's start with the hour. Which hand is the hour hand on this clock? The left or the right? Smaller. Correct. So what time is it telling us? If we're looking at this and we look at it and remember we go to the left of it, so would that be 4?
Yes.
All right. So now when we're reading the minutes, a way that we can do it that makes it a little bit faster is if we go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 41, 42. Does everybody agree that it's 42 minutes past 4?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so everybody get out your workbook pages. They're in the blue paperclip.
5 minutes.
How do I get
push the button that says dot cam.
Okay, so we'll start at the top together. So what time is it showing on the analog clock? Let's look first. Which one is the hour hand? Let's start with that. 10, it's the small hand, all right. And so then let's look at the minute hand, the longer hand. How many minutes past 10 is it?
32.
Yes, so you can tell the time is 10:32, or you can name it as 32 minutes past 10, but they're both correct. Okay, so then on which side of the colon would the hour go? All right, so let's go ahead and write that down. And which side would the minutes go on? The right. Okay, so if this time is before noon, would you write AM or PM? Exactly. So let's move down and we'll do one step up. We can read the directions together. Draw lines to connect clocks that show the same time. All right, so we'll do the first one. If we're looking at the hour hand on this one, we'll go down and we can see if we look to the left that it is 4. And then if we do the minutes, we do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. Is there a clock down here that's a digital clock that matches that?
Yes.
Let's draw a line to it. We can go ahead and go to the next workbook page. All right. It says read the analog clock, then write the same time on the digital clock. So we're looking at this analog clock. Which one do we look at for the hour again? Shorthand, exactly. So we're looking at this one, we go and we look to the left of it, and it's 9. So would that 9 go on the left or the right side of the colon? Good job. And we're looking at the minutes. We'll start at 30 here since we know the 6 is 30. Go 35, 40. Is it exactly on that 40?
Yes.
All right. Does that go on the left or the right side of the colon?
Right.
And we'll go to the bottom. Says read the digital clock, then draw hands on the analog clock to show the same time. Your hands do not have to be perfect on this, but let's just try our best to get it to the perfect minute.
2 minutes.
So if it's 5, then we'll try to do the small hand at 5. And if it's 28, then we can go and do the long hand right next to the 28. You can go ahead and do the step ahead if you'd like to have extra work. That won't be anything. You can bring it to if you'd like me to check it. All right, so all of you have little cards in your folder. They're on index cards that have blank clocks on it. You can go ahead and get those out. And to close this up, think of a time that you have basketball practice or that you have dance lessons every week, or if you don't have any extracurricular activities, maybe your bedtime every single night. And have that written at the top, and then write that in that digital clock and on the analog clock correctly, and make sure to write your name, and this will be your exit